episode of Pink Perspectives powered by the Pink Table Talk. I'm your host, Dana Johnson, and joining me today is one of my newly besties, Ellen. So thank you for joining us today. Ellen is the Executive Director of ABCD after breast cancer diagnosis. So I will allow her to just give us a little snippet of an insight of who is Ellen?
Oh my goodness, who is Ellen? Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your show and inviting me to the pink table. I wore my pink to be part of this experience. So I've had the honor and privilege of being the executive director for ABCD after breast cancer diagnosis since 2017. Prior to that, I have done a variety of different careers in higher education and in nonprofits, and also marketing and communications and PR has been the constant, and women's healthcare has been something that from day one in my career I've been focused on. So I'm a lifelong Milwaukeean, and when my husband and I moved back to Milwaukee in 2009 to make this our home, I, of course, knew, with everything I just shared with you, I knew about ABCD. I knew about the great work of our founder. I knew about the strength of this women's health organization. So in 2017, when this opportunity was available to step into this role, it's just truly an honor and a privilege, and just this beautiful confluence of my passion for women's health, my ability and experience in running a nonprofit organization, and having a vision for where we can grow to help and reach more people.
I absolutely love that. So I would be remiss if I didn't share with our audience how we became acquainted. So Ellen and I would see each other at various breast cancer events, but I affectionately say that we became better acquainted by the vice president of ABCD and the new policy committee chair for the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition, and one of my dear friends, Linda Hansen. So thank you, Linda, for making that happen and making this connection happen for us to have a seat at the table and have the conversation. So you spoke a little bit about how you knew about ABCD and its founder. Can you speak a little bit about Melody Wilson and how ABCD came to be?
Absolutely. Well, Melody Wilson was an Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist who worked in this field for many, many decades. And if you were of a certain age, and I am of that age, I mean, I grew up knowing Melody Wilson as the woman who came into our family kitchen every night at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock to deliver the Milwaukee news. So I just knew about her. I didn't know, wasn't aware that in 1992 she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she did something rare at that time, which was she started speaking openly about her diagnosis as part of her nightly newscast. This was a time when you didn't really talk about cancer, let alone breast cancer, in public, especially not on live TV over dinner. But she did. And what ended up happening was that people in her viewers who heard her story, heard her sharing not about her treatments that she was getting per se, not about the health care that she was receiving, but more about how it felt to be a working mom going through breast cancer, how it felt, how scared she felt, how overwhelmed, how hard it was to talk to her little kids about her diagnosis. So the other stuff that goes along with any sort of major health and a major life change.
Exactly.
And so people start calling her from all over her viewer area. And there's two types of people. One group were people who were survivors who wanted to share with their friend Melody, who was also a TV anchor, about how they handled the feelings of being overwhelmed, how they talked to their children. Then there was another type of person who called, and those are the people who had just been diagnosed or didn't know anyone else diagnosed with breast cancer. So the story is that that Melody would come off the air, she'd come back to her desk, and her phone would be ringing with these two different types of people calling, and she would have she had a color-coded sticky note system where she would record the people calling and realize that there were, that person who was calling me from say Mequon, Wisconsin, who's a survivor, could really help this person who is calling me, from another part of her viewer area.
Right.
I can't come up with a city offhand, but realizing, it would really help if these two people talked to each other, who connected. So ultimately, in 1998, she left her broadcast career, and in 1999, she started ABCD with the mission and vision that no one should be alone after a breast cancer diagnosis.
Oh my
gosh. So her founding vision remains true today. We say that in everything that we do, and what she created is still true today, which I can share with you now if you'd like.
I would love that. So I had the pleasure to be able to attend last year, your 25th anniversary, which was phenomenal that it's even gotten to that stage. But the one thing that carried along with me and resonated with me when I got home is that you all are looking to just broaden your scope. It's not just Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You're reaching people all across the country. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So yes, so when Melody started the organization, her firm belief was that she wanted to create one-to-one connections that people could connect over the phone. So it was a phone-based organization. It was not a support group. It was not an advocacy organization, because the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition was going strong back then too. It was not a conferences. We weren't having big walks. That's not what her mission was. Her mission was that one-to-one support. So she believed very strongly that in order to provide one-to-one support, you had to be trained and you had to be vetted. You had to learn how to provide support. And that was the basis for what it was then and now our mentor training program. So in 1999, she started with 23 mentors. And if you think about 1999, that was when using your cell phone, you really waited until after 9 o'clock for a free call. Long distance calls were expensive. The internet didn't really exist.
Sure.
So it was really a southeastern Wisconsin amazing organization that she was able to reach throughout the state of Wisconsin, and it did grow over time, but always with this one-to-one matching, which is where someone would call us then and now. We find out about their specific diagnosis, their treatment, and their stage and age in life. Are they a vegan? Are they a stay-at-home mom? Did they just retire? Are they facing some health disparity issues? Are they feeling like they can't have access to the right care? Are they, are they 82 or are they 22? All the, stages in life matter.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what Melody was about, that she wanted to connect people based on those specifics. So we call it personalized support. So, so back to your question. So she started with 23 mentors, and she led the organization for 10 years. Unfortunately, she did have a recurrence, and she ultimately died from metastatic breast cancer in 2009. But the organization continued. And with technology's advancements and with the dedication of the staff and the board of directors and our mentors, the organization has grown, and we now say we're a fully virtual organization.
I love it.
Providing support to anyone, anywhere, any stage, and we're able to do that because you can call us. It doesn't matter where you live. It just doesn't, and because we've leaned into our website and social media and our mentor pool. We have mentors. We have 258 active mentors right now of the 945 mentors that we've trained over 25 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and those 258 mentors, about 150 or so of them are in the state of Wisconsin, because we love our hometown. We love our hometown community, but we have mentors across the country. We have a mentor in Alaska. We have mentors in Florida. Name not all the states, but a lot of the states we're covered, and people do call us. We've supported people in all 50 states, and we've also supported people from Mexico, from Canada, from London, from Africa. And it's that one-to-one support that makes all the difference.
And all her vision. it's funny that you mentioned that you would look forward to just being able to just sit in your kitchen or sit like in your living room, and you knew at 5 or 6 o'clock that you would see her. So we did not mention that Melody was with TMJ4, which is a part of a special connection for myself, because that was where I had my first internship in college and had an opportunity to work with some of Melody's colleagues, Carol Meekins, who has been a long lifetime member or mentor for me, and with Mike Goucher. So shout out to TMJ4, because they are what kicked it all off for ABCD and for myself in developing the Pink Table Talk and just knowing what are great stories to be able to share with you all. One thing that I would like to kind of just chat about is if you can kind of just give us an inside vision as to what were your thoughts and the conversations that you had to have within like your own household? How you said that Melanie was having like some tough conversations with her household as to when she was being diagnosed. But when you took on, just this leadership role, I'm sure there are a lot of things that don't fall under that 9 to 5.
Oh, yes. Well, so I have 3 boys and a husband and a male dog, because that's just how life, how it is. And 8 years ago, they were, ages 5 to 13. And while I have always been a working mom, I've always been in a position where I'm balancing different responsibilities. One of my mentors shared with me that I will never work harder than in a job that I love. And without a doubt, as much as I had some great jobs before, this job is the one where I am so passionate about what we do, so motivated by the work that we provide and services we provide, that it's absolutely just part of everything I do. I feel like I'm constantly thinking about it, but also, we do have to balance, work life, as we know, and especially in an organization where we really prioritize someone having a full life while they're going through any sort of breast cancer treatment or diagnosis. And for me, learning how to talk about breast cancer, as we don't necessarily do it over the dinner table, but it's part of our conversation. And my boys actually have brought people to ABCD.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Being diagnosed with breast cancer changes everything, and it happens every single day. Very quickly, patients and caregivers realize this is not just a medical journey. They've been dragged onto an emotional roller coaster. ABCD trains breast cancer survivors who have ridden that same ride and provide encouragement and understanding like no one else can. From diagnosis through treatment and beyond, all services are free and virtual.
Welcome back to Pink Perspectives, powered by the Pink Table Talk. When we last discussed with Ellen, we were talking about just how her family embraces her experience and her leadership with ABCD. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so all 3 of my boys and my husband and my aunts and my extended family, cousins, my mom, as I got more passionate about what it is that I do, they have also become advocates and for the organization. So anytime they've heard about someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, either recently or as a survivor, or someone living with metastatic disease, or as a caregiver, they tell them, oh, you have to call ABCD. You have to talk to my mom. So, it really is a family business. My mother-in-law has sent people to ABCD, and, for me, that truly speaks to the quality of our organization, the quality of our services, because I know that my best friend who did need to use our services, and friends of friends, I can confidently say, yes, use our services. They make a profound difference, and And that is absolutely part of my personal leadership vision, is that I have to stand by and believe in the work that I'm doing, and know that we are delivering high quality service every single day to anyone that calls us.
I love that. So I will just share just a brief story with you that I don't know if I've shared with you before. So we are coming up on the 5-year anniversary of the Pink Table Talk in October. And when we first started the vision, it was about the podcast. And then people were like, but hey, you are with WBCC. I see you at an ABCD event. I see you with Sisters Network. I see you in DC, and you're doing all these things. Can you help me with the resources? So I would get direct messages about that, or I would get texts or phone calls and things. And I had to think bigger and grander and how can I pay it forward, which is a huge thing for me to be able to pay it forward. So I received a call actually from a middle school guy friend of mine who, one of his dear friends, her partner had just been recently diagnosed, and she was having a tough time dealing with it. And he was like, I know you do all these things. Can you help them? Because she doesn't want to go to anybody, but she trusts that I trust you.
Right.
And for me, it hit even more personal, because you usually don't have guys that will come out to be able to try to bridge that gap.
Right.
And one of my first calls was, I want to connect you with ABCD. I knew WBCC had a lot of various resources, but her first thing was she needed that mentorship. She needed somebody, like you said, that will not only just do the mentorship, but that would look at her age, that would look at if she's got kids, that would look at what her job is, that fit all of those things. And to this day, she's like, oh my God. And now she shares her story because of all of those things. But you had to peel the onion. You had to peel the onion to get to how can I help you. So I'm glad that we're here now, full circle.
Yeah.
And that I can share that with you.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for that referral, first and foremost. And at ABCD, another thing that we say is that we, for 25 years, we only have done and only will do peer-to-peer, one-to-one support, and we will only do it for breast cancer. While yes, this is not emotional support, anyone who's been impacted by any cancer or major life challenge, whether it's health or anything else, you need to get peer-to-peer support. You got to add in the medical care with the peer-to-peer support, emotional support. But for us, we are laser focused on breast cancer and peer-to-peer, and that's what we're going to stay doing. And so, but we knew there's other organizations that we need out there doing all the other work.
Exactly.
The WBCCs, the doing the work that you do, the advocacy and education and lobbying. We don't do that, but we are going to support you. And Sisters Network, a wonderful partner with us, but Sisters Network's mission of reaching out and educating with a focus on the African American community. I hope I got that right.
Yes.
But we need you to be doing that. While we partner and we can support, how do we help? And we're about collaborate. We're all about collaboration, and so we're really, that's something that I also am very focused on with our team. It's partnerships.
I love that. So we've both been talking about just from the family aspect and from the survivor aspect, but it's important for Ellen and I to both share that neither one of us has been diagnosed or survivors. However, we have a connection to breast cancer. So I lost my mom on January 8th of 2003 and have been a fierce advocate ever since. I had never knew of anyone who had encountered breast cancer or how to go about it. And the first thing was a Google search, and the first thing that came up was Coleman and the walks. And that was what people knew.
Yeah.
Because 30 years ago, like you said, with Melanie, people just weren't talking that talk that we're talking now. So I've had the opportunity to captain a team, and then it grew to WBCC, and then Pink Table Talk, and now with Sisters Network and NVCC. So it happens, and you, like you said, when you're passionate about it, it doesn't seem like it's work every day, because your full drive and your intention is to make certain that you're helping people.
Right.
So from your perspective of not being diagnosed, what drives and what's your force every day?
So as I said, women's health has always been just part of my career focus, and I've always been passionate about it from just a personal perspective. But my connection to the work that we provide of emotional support relates to my dad was diagnosed and died from lung cancer within a 10-week time period in 2013.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, thank you. But during that time, I remember feeling so alone, feeling like I couldn't talk to anyone that would understand what I was going through. I was surrounded by casseroles. I was surrounded by people wanting to drive my kids somewhere. I was surrounded by helpful people who said, "Oh, if you want to cry on my shoulder, come cry it," and all that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But no one understood what it was like to be my age, living the life I was leading, and to be having this major life change. And I knew about ABCD, and I tried to find an organization that would help me, and I couldn't.
Yes.
On top of all that, my first experience of losing someone to cancer as an adult, my first close friend was she died from metastatic breast cancer at the age of 38. And I didn't even know you could get breast cancer at that age, especially metastatic. And so it was really, it was just one of those moments. And so, as I said, when this opportunity in 2017 presented itself, it was just all these moments and all these reasons to say yes. And I'll say that in the 8 years that I've been the executive director, I've had more than 20 friends, family, friends of friends who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, who have needed to use our services, and so it is personal. And so while I have never heard the words "you have breast cancer," and my family my direct family hasn't had that experience, I believe that the empathy that drives me to run the organization fuels what it is that I do. And I'm very proud on our team. All 7 of us either have a story like mine, or 5 of the people on my team are either breast cancer survivors themselves, people living with metastatic disease, or have had a different form of cancer. So yeah, it's I'm sorry to hear about your mom, and I have to say that you are one of the most passionate people. I think every time I'm one of those people that's like, wait, you haven't? Oh, okay, but your drive is your mom.
Yeah.
And you told me about your beautiful bracelet, and we all have a reason why we do what we do. And I hope neither of us hear those words, "you have breast cancer," and we're doing everything we can to educate, raise awareness, and help people who have.
Okay, so now we gotta hug it out. Thank you. So one thing that I would like to highlight is the night out with ABCD.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about that before we wrap today?
Absolutely. Well, on May 1st, 2025, we're having our annual event to raise awareness for the free services that we provide. No one is charged for the work that we give out, or that we provide every single day, and we have costs. As a nonprofit organization, we have costs. So we look to generous donors, individuals, corporations, businesses, foundations to help us raise money for our organization. And we are also very focused on hosting events that are fun to attend.
Yes.
And so a night out with ABCD Illuminate is our theme for this year. We'll be at the Baird Center on Thursday, May 1st, beginning at 5:30 p.m. And it's going to be, we're going to have exciting and fun ways to engage in fundraising. We're going to have delicious food, because that's important to us. No boring chicken dinners at ABCD. And then dueling pianos. So it's going to be a fun night. And yes, we will be, sharing information about our program. And we have a beautiful Monique Morris is actually going to be, she's a mentor, and she's someone who's going to be sharing her story at our event. Then we're going to, have a good, fun performance and dueling pianos, lots of hopefully dancing, singing. What song are you going to request?
Oh my gosh, if I had to request a song, I would probably request Party in the USA.
Woohoo!
And I say that because my students, so I teach also, and my students, like, that's one of our fun songs, and it just, it just keeps you going and keeps you in the mood.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. Well, then you request that.
I got you.
I don't know. I always like the word celebration, that good song. So when we play
Let's
those
do
songs,
it.
we'll dance together.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I think it'll sound great.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of Pink Perspectives powered by the Pink Table Talk. I am so honored and thrilled that we got to share this time together and to have a conversation and to have a seat at the table together.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And if I could just say that if for anyone who's watching, if you or anyone you love has been impacted by breast cancer, please reach out, call us. You can find us on on our website. It's a quick and easy form, and no wait lists, everything's free, and we get people supported within 24 to 48 hours. They'll hear from a real live person. No AI at ABCD.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.